William Survey from our friends over at Timberlake and League joining us right now. William, always a pleasure to have you with us. While we wait for that first caller, though, Alabama has a new hands-free law. Can you talk a little bit about what that means for drivers?
Absolutely, and thanks for having me. So, Governor Ivey just recently signed into law Senate Bill 301, which is Alabama's new hands-free law, right? And so, up until now, of course, it's been illegal to text and drive. It's been there's been some cell phone laws already on the books. What this law says basically is you need to be 100% hands-free in the car, right? So if you don't have hands-free and you're using your cell phone for GPS, that's now against the law. If you're using your phone to control your radio or music, also against the law. You've got to be 100% hands-free in the car. Now, for you to be fined for that, that has to be observed by the officer in addition to some traffic violation, coming over the line or some other form of observable distracted driving. So it's a secondary charge. You're not going to be likely pulled over just for an officer observing you with your cell phone. But they have instituted a mandatory 1-year period where they're not going to issue fines for this. They're just going to issue warnings. But once those fines begin, they'll be at $50. And then a subsequent violation of this law within a 24-month period will provide a $100 fine and then $150, et cetera. But you should not be placed in custodial arrest under this law solely. And in addition to that, they should not assert court costs solely for a violation of Senate Bill 301. So this is, you're going to view more like a secondary charge, like a seatbelt violation or something like that.
Just reminding people one more time, if you haven't called us already, we'd love to hear from you. The number 256-536-0077 if you have a legal question you'd like to ask. And I do believe we just learned we have Shirley on the line right now. Shirley, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Go ahead with your question, Shirley.
Is there a law of some kind on the Alabama books for a wife of 35 to 40 years leaving their husband?
I'm not sure what you mean with regards to is there a law in the book. There's actually several. If you're married, these would be, kind of distinctions between legally separated. Are you just leaving, but you're leaving your marriage intact? Or, if you're looking to get a divorce, then you would, have to apply divorce law, and it would depend if there's minor children involved, property, all those different things. So if that is a question that you are having, I'd encourage you strongly to consult with a family law attorney who can kind of give you the ins and outs and explain to you what your options are, because they're sort of vast to try to do in a quick news segment.
And I have a question while we wait for another caller, William. We talk about Alabama's hands-free law. Just for clarity, I think a lot of people interpret that to mean you can't sit with your phone and use your thumb and text or send a message or something. But we're talking if it's in the holder and you're still doing this. Does that still qualify under the law as illegal?
I think that what the law is trying to do is get the phone out of your hand.
Right.
So, if you've got a holder, a mount, so to speak, I think that would be considered hands-free under the law. The law mentions in one area that, essentially your phone needs to be in a place, or if you have a built-in hands-free device into your dashboard, that, essentially you need something that you can do 1 or 2 swipes and keep moving. So I think the intent of this law is just to get it out of your hand as long as it's mounted or you have some other hands-free device in place. That's going to be sort of the distinguishing factor here.
Now, the good news is a lot of cars these days, probably most of them, come with voice-activated features, both through the car and through the phone. So that's got to ease up some of that danger as well, I'd like to think.
You're right, and it's just the safety thing, right? And so they're trying to crack down on distracted driving because this is a big problem, especially with sort of the younger generation. And so it's just like, anytime a safety feature is implemented into an automobile, the newer models are going to have it, the older models aren't. But here, the type of mount you were describing earlier for your dashboard that just goes right on top, is really, really relatively inexpensive. And so there's an affordable option here for most everyone who doesn't have that in their vehicle.